Alright, welcome back everybody. Anybody that's new here, thanks for joining me today. Today should be a pretty simple one. If you don't know, and you don't already know where I'm at, which you should by now, if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. You'll be able to follow along a little bit easier. But today's video, I know some of you guys have been waiting for it, and so have I. I mean, it's one of those things. But the last time I was here, I found some bait that basically, I remember a long time ago I used to use it for bait all the time in this area, and I got some really big fish, some really big fish. So my fingers are crossed today that if it's anything like it used to be and I'm using the same bait, you guys will see in a minute here, yeah, we stick some of those monsters. Okay, so hopefully you can hear me. I'm going to face you away from the water for a second here. I'm back by the spillway, but this time I'm going to collect some bait first. I brought some night crawlers as a backup, so don't worry about that. But I'm going to be fishing live bait today, and it's not for little fish. So hopefully we get some of those really big ones. Now let's try to grab some bait real quick here. You'll see what bait I'm getting in a second. There's just a little one of what I'm looking for. I want them a little bigger than that. There you go. Yeah. There's one decent one. There's a bigger one. That's what I'm chasing. I don't know. You guys think that's enough bait? Okay. So first things first, I'm gonna throw this guy because it did really well last time down here for the bigger smallmouth. But I have my bait feeder and I have a slip bobber rod to run the crayfish on and night crawlers. So hopefully this all pans out, because if it does, this should be a really fun day. So let's catch some fish. Just had a smallmouth hit it right in front of me. Okay, so the water is way down from what it was before. There's one. Very smallie. Stop squirming. Okay, so that's the first smallmouth, and I actually just saw a really big one, I think, going upstream. Like I say in most of my videos, if you're new here, I'll remind everybody, but if you're new here, I try to link everything that works. You know, anything that actually works, catches fish. You've seen it catch a fish. In the description below. So check that out if you guys want to pick some of these up. These spinners kill in rivers. Another one. That's a baby largemouth. Oh, you know what I forgot? Little fat largie. What is that? Little small jaw. He's right behind me. Good thing about the river being small is it concentrates the fish into little areas. It'll actually make my slip bobber approach very effective today. What is that? Holy giant bluegill. Well then. That's a big river bluegill on a frickin' spinner. Everything eats it. He got that whole thing in his mouth. That was pretty cool. What? I got one. Another little small jaw. These guys are vicious. Okay, I think I'm going to try a bobber and a crawfish for a little while. See if anything big's down here that wants to eat some live bait. Okay, so we're going to start with this little guy. He's probably one of the medium ones or smaller ones. I couldn't find any really big ones, but this should be a snack or something. Like I said, I'm just doing a slip bobber, plain hook. See how it goes. Let's see if I can stick a smallmouth up by the waterfall for a second here with this. Oh, fish. Got him. Not sure what it is. It's a smallmouth. And it's a bigger one. I knew this would work. My old crappy reel's working too. Ah. Come here. That's a decent one. Barely hooked. These guys love crayfish. They munch them. That's candy size for these guys. Alright, so that's one smallmouth on a crayfish. Now the cool thing is I watched him hit it, and then the crayfish tried like running away from it. Must have got out of the smallmouth's mouth. And I watched my bobber go, like it was going under this way, and then the bobber like shot this way, like jerked. So that's the crayfish shooting, and that's why you hook them in the tail like that, so they can still like get away. But I stopped him. I pulled him back. So he was trying to get away, and I stopped him. And when I stopped him, that smallmouth snapped him, and yeah, that crayfish is dinner. I fed a smallmouth today, but I want to feed some of those monsters. So that was like a 14, but I know that if I'm using live bait, I have a chance at a monster. There's also some other very big fish in here that I don't want to say anything about because I don't want to get anybody's hopes up, but there's some very big ones of them in here. So if I hook into one of those, this should be interesting. Okay, let's see if we can do that again. Let's see if we can get some big ones today. That was a decent smallmouth. I'm pretty happy with that, considering my last video I didn't have very many big ones, but I caught a bunch, so let's get the sizes up. Oh, I think that's a bite. Yeah. Yep, fish. That's a bigger one. I'm telling you guys, go grab some of your own bait and crush the smallmouth. This is awesome. I knew it would work. Oh, that's a big one. It went between my legs. Come here. Look at that. That's what is up right there. It's such a beautiful sight. Look at the colors on that thing. Okay, I'm going to try and get a good release on this one. Look at that guy. Look how dark that thing is. I want to try and get a good release on this. The water's pretty dirty, but hopefully you guys can see it. All right, so now I'm really happy. It's working. They're getting bigger. I didn't measure that one. I'm gonna bring my other rod over here. I have my tuned up Apex tied up with the spinner, and on that one I have marks on it to measure fish real quickly, so I don't have to get a tape measure out. So I'm just gonna lay that on the bank over here, and I can walk up and measure these fish. I'm gonna say that one was probably 16 inches, but it looked beautiful. It was the colors on smallmouth are just freaking amazing, and they're so varied. But I know they're bigger than that. That's the crazy thing, is they get bigger than that down here. But they are munching, and I'm saying munching. I watched that guy. So like, I reeled it up, and there's like a little hump that's down here from sediment built up, and I reeled it up, and my bait was sitting on the hump, so my bobber was like tilting, and I saw my bobber tilting. And this is something I do in my slip bobber video. If you guys go through my, I think it's a Tackle Tip Tuesday, I show you guys how to like read a bobber. And my bobber was tilting, and I knew it was on the bottom, but I also knew that I still had line pretty tight down there. So what I did is I just kind of scooted it along because I saw my bobber stand up and then get real light. So that's usually when a fish picks up everything off the bottom, but they're not pulling down on your bobber. So what I did is I pulled it away from him just a little bit, not a lot, because I didn't want to mess up the bite, but pull it away from him just a little bit. And then I watched my bobber pop down, like just kind of pop, but it didn't go under, and then kind of drifting just a little bit. So what he had done is he had went down after the bait, pinned it to the bottom, so my bobber just sat like that, and then he started swimming away with it. And that's basically how you want to pay attention to your bobbers and stuff like that. Bobber fishing isn't just cast a bobber and hope for the best. There's a lot that goes into it, and that's why I did a whole slip bobber video. I mean, a lot of people seem to be enjoying it. It's going nuts right now. Go over there, check it out. It's pretty easy if you just type in DWS Outdoors and slip bobber. That video should come up. So I'm gonna try and stick some more of these guys. I'm gonna go until till I'm out of bait. This is awesome. Fish. That one dropped on one. I think that's a smallie. I can't tell. Yeah, that's another smallmouth. Another good one. God, this is a blast. I knew there were bigger ones down here. God, they're so full of energy. I'm gonna be sore today. Look how barely hooked this fish is. Like, look at that guy. Okay. Got me a nice big one. Alright, let's see if there's any monsters that want to snack. That one's big enough it can move my bobber around, but I'll know if I get a bite. Fish. That's interesting. I had a fish bite right there, and I don't know if you guys saw that. I'm gonna have to look at it, but a fish jumped there when I set the hook. I'm wondering if I stuck him or what, but he got my bait. starting to bite. Trying to eat it. I'll let him take it for a second here. There we go. See, that guy, I could literally see that guy eating it. A little bit smaller, but still fun. Okay, so the trick with that one was he was eating it, but he wasn't just taking it down. So what I did is I waited to see the bobber kind of vibrate along. It wasn't deep enough for him to actually pull the bobber down. So be very observant of your bobbers if you're fishing shallow or stuff like this. That guy kind of got it deep, but I was able to go in through the back of the gill plate and pull it out, and he should be fine. He was bleeding a little bit, but he did swim away good. And then usually if you do a good job pulling them out that way, you're not ripping and tearing a bunch of different stuff. So I try to take care of my fish if I'm going to let them go. If I'm going to eat them, it doesn't matter, but I mean, I dispatch them pretty quickly if I'm going to eat them. But either way, I try to let go fish in as healthy condition as possible. So hopefully I can stick some of those bigger ones more. That guy was like 12, 13, and I think most of my other ones, I think my other 3 were all between like 14 and 16 inches. I'd love to get a 20. Those things would be huge and it'd be a riot. Oh, he hit it when I was moving it. Oh, it's because it's a pike. Northern pike. This guy's elite crayfish too. Oh, this guy's been caught like 100 times. There we go. You guys see him down there? His face is all tore up. You should be able to see it. I wish I had my other GoPro with me. There, I'll give him a kick. There he goes. Fish on. Big fish on. Now the challenge is to keep them out of the wood. This is big. I have no idea what it is. Ooh. I think I got one of the ones that I was talking about. You guys are gonna see it, I think. This thing is huge. Yep, the giant channel cat. knew they still lived down here. Look at that thing. Try to bring it into the shallow water here for you so you can see it. Oh, it's a giant. Giant kitty. Come here. Come on. Oh God. Look at that monster. Look at that thing. That's next to me. Big old fat belly full of food. I knew they were here still. I'm gonna try to get an underwater release of this beast because it's the only time I've ever gonna have a chance to. I told you there was something big down here. Oh, this is why I came back. I hope this isn't too repetitive for you guys because I don't care. That was awesome. That thing was huge. I'd probably say 5 to 8 pounds. Only because it had a huge gut. The thing is this area is littered with crayfish spots, and I mean it's probably one of the healthiest crayfish populations you'll ever find anywhere that I've found anyways. And I just remembered it last time I was here. I'll link the last video that I did. It was all casting. It was a lot of action, just like this, but I didn't fish with any live bait. I'll link it, like I said, at the end of this video. So if you guys stay tuned to the very end of the video, like the very end, I'll put that video in with, so you guys can watch it. But that one was all casting, so it was all lures and stuff like that. But when I was here, I was thinking about it, and then when I was leaving, I kicked up a rock and a big crayfish shot out from underneath it, and it made me remember. I just had to remember that that's what lives down here if you fish with live bait. Plus, the bigger smallmouth down here just tend to eat those big crayfish. I was debating on leaving, and I'm very glad I didn't. I think I'm going to try a couple more baits of crayfish on the slip bobber, because that'd be cool if I got more of those catfish, but I'd love to get some more big smallmouth too. Yeah. All right, sorry, I'm a little shooken up. It's been a while since I stuck a monster like that. And that one I forgot what pound test line is on that rod. That literally is just like a river rod, so that, like, you know, if I drop it in the water or like lose it or whatever, I don't care. So it's just an old thing that I pieced together, and I think it's got 10-pound mono. I think that's what's on there. I think it's 10-pound P-line or 12-pound P-line, one of the two. Either way, it handled that fish. I thought for sure I was going to break off because there's a bunch of snags and stuff to get stuck on. All right, enough rambling. Let's get back to fishing. Oh. Well, there goes that spinner. That was a northern pike. I saw him come up out of the frickin' current seam right there. Swipe, gone. Alright, back to the live bait. Not sure what that is. I think it's another catfish. He ate right in front of me. Oh, it's carphead. It's the giant carphead. This thing's huge. I watched him swim in here. If you ever wondered, these guys do like crayfish too, so. Yep. Probably a 8-10 pound carp. Oh, I am sore. I've been watching this guy swim around my feet all day. I was wondering if he was ever going to bite. You get this guy tired. Stay up here. Can't let him get into that main river current. Gonna have to just gill him. That'd get me wet. Strong little bugger. Might only be like a 4 or 5. Still really strong. All right, just gonna bear hug this guy. Alright, not what I was intending to catch, but still a monster nonetheless. I'm going to try and get an underwater release of this beast. Alright guys, that thing was a monster. Could have been bigger. I've fought bigger carp, but the fun part was the fact that like I was looking down at it and just kind of moving the bait just a little bit, and he was trying to suck it up, and I got it just far enough away from where he pulled in and sucked hard, and I was able to set the hook like, I don't know, he was probably like 3 feet in front of me. That's one of my favorite things about wading in the water like this, is the fact that the fish will bite right at your feet, literally. Not quite as big as the catfish, but equally as tough fighting. I am beat. Caught some good fish today, and I mean, I would normally turn this into like 2 videos, but I just want you guys to enjoy what I enjoyed today. So I'm gonna put it all together the way it is. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Like I always say before, I try to list everything in the description below. Pick up some merch, help support the channel, and pick up some gear and get yourself some fish on the same gear that I got. That spinner I lost earlier, I'll link that below because obviously it works, but maybe you should use better gear. My line, I only have like a 6-pound leader, and that's why they, you know, get off, or the northern pike can bite me off. But if you use heavier line, you'll be fine. But as always, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Obviously, if you're not new here, you know what's up. But if you are new, can you please just remember to